One such strategy was adopted by Calypsonians was the technique of masking. The colonial laws that forced the Calypsonians to use the mask were, and these are regulations you must become familiar with, 1868 regulations, the Peace Preservation Act of 1884, which I have mentioned to you on numerous occasions, there's that one, and there's Ordinance 2 of 1884. The Seditious Publications Act of 1920. That act was meant to censor ideas, particularly those against the colonial government and the British Crown. It banned newspapers such as the Negro World. It bans Garvey's ideas of Black imperialism. And in all your readings, you will come across ordinances and regulations. Please highlight them in your readings, become familiar with them, because I may just ask you a day, what does the 1868 regulation mean in terms of your quiz and your exams? And don't tell me, I can't remember. No. That thing, you see all your mouth when all on the Zoom. I got my mouth when all the send the paper. Right, Miss Marie? Rachel, what you laughing at? All right, 3. Africans brought traditions of song and dance to Trinidad and Tobago. Traditions are either oral statements, spoken, sung, or called out on musical instruments, or learned behavior passed on from one generation to another, containing historical information that informs us about events or sequences of events, describes past situations, or report trends which need not relate to actual events or observations. Liverpool, 2001. So when you talk about what's the tradition, I think things that came down from one parent or one family member to the other, from one village to the next, from one event to the next, either in song, in folklore, but basically it's the continuation of an event or activity, a practice. That's what makes it a tradition. In the Calypso, as in many of the Africanism, there are a number of traditions. One of them is the tendency of the singer to hide his intentions by what J.D. Adler calls concealment devices. So some of the historians call the same things, the same tradition, the same hiding of words. Some call it masking. J.D. Adler calls it concealment devices. Right? And you need to be able to differentiate who says what. And as I may have said to you ago, J.D. Adler, for me, one of the most important cultural figures who passed through our Twin Island state. And if you have the opportunity when you go UWI Library, 3rd floor, try and read his dissertation on the Calypso. Five, these concealment devices, I call them masks. In earlier times, Dina Epstein, in her book, Sinful Tunes and Spirituals, shows that, as reported in 1972, the songs were of a satirical cast. Brian Edwards, 18th century, and William Pearson, 19th century, spoke of the sarcasm, the mocking ridicule, and flattery, etc. in the songs heard. Masking was seen in a griot tradition both in Africa and the court of Hilary Bergerac and Diego Martin. Singers like Papa Chukun, So-So, who had a rich bass voice, and Goja all used the mask. Goja was so effective that he was appointed, made Calypso by Bergerac, or Calypso King. Examples of the mask in the early Calypsos. And these are some of the popular phrases that if you pay the Calypsos of the 40s and 50s, you'll hear. I will send Miss Scorpion to bite your Santape, sans humanity. What exactly are they referring to? I will send Miss Santape, sorry, I will send Miss Scorpion to bite your Santape. What could that be? And as Professor Liverpool will say, big people are doing this course. They're not a course to children.
You throw shit on.
I hear you, Jesse.
You will go after in an attempt to be with her physically. intimately.
Okay. Yeah. So what are the objective? What are the objectification in terms of scorpion and centipede? What's that? Jesse, you
The
still?
scorpion of thing,
Go ahead.
the centipede, I think, is really a female or female, whatever, animal or amphibian or whatever. So
Any
she has a thing that he as a man would end up be with her physically in a heterosexual way, not a woman's story.
all right, Jesse. Any other versions of that? Welcome, Miss Covey. Young, not seeing your face. And Jesse, I ain't seen you neither.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry, not able to be on camera today. My apologies.
Okay.
Same with me, so romantic in transit, so I'm losing and going on that. I really can't work anymore today. You know, I don't what status.
All right. Any other comments on that? First one? We send Miss Scorpion by the centipede, sans humanity, without mercy or without.
What does sans humanity mean again?
Without mercy.
Without mercy.
Okay.
In other words, but I'm not sparing the rod to spoil the child. I'm going full force. And as Jesse was commenting, basically it's the whole sexual act, a male-female interaction, and it's like somebody saying, well, okay, you're playing bad, I go send some man or some male figure to deal with you, and it's almost like a sense of subordination, using sex to subordinate, to suppress, to control, to dictate.
Then to the use of the scorpion. Scorpion is well, lethal for want of a poisonous animal or insect or whatever. It's worse than the centipede. So
Yeah.
in other words, better than you are, and you ain't ready.
Yeah. So the whole power struggle is still there. And then the other one, bend the angle on them when they be in a charge, is the rod of corruption. Again, one of the early calendar songs has happened to do a lot with the days of the calendar fights, stick fights, especially around carnival times. And when in protest against the colonials, when they say bend the angle on them, it's basically to prepare yourself for battle and go head on into the armory of the colonial police situation that they had at the time. And when they say when you're being a charge, basically, the bayonet is what the colonial police had in their possession. So when they charge in them, is to be prepared with your sticks to defend yourself against the bayonet. So if you look at it physically, the early carnivalist people had sticks or staffs or what we call I forget the name, but basically the pui sticks. And here you had them attacking or defending against the British police officers who had bayonets. So basically, it's a preparation for that attack. Keeping your angle. In other words, you prepare, you carry, as they say in stick fighting, and you get ready to defend yourself against the bayonets. And then the third one is another sexual overtone, but this one has to do with bestiality, one of the early songs that dealt with that issue. And it goes like, meh, meh. It's a preacher with a candle in his hand giving a goat baptism. It was quite a popular news item in the early 60s when a preacher was accused of having sex with a goat. And the Calypsonian used this kind of phrasing to bring the information to the public. Now we have a couple of years ago we had some folklore about that same thing happening in the politics, but we won't get into that. Number 8, Provide some examples of masking in Calypso. The mask is most prolific in smut, and for obvious reasons. It's easy, it's catchy, it's the symbolisms are easy to narrate. The visuals are there, so like Sparrow singing, but really there. I mean that is so easy to capture the mood, and given his theatrics and his personality on stage, you know, that kind of thing is easy for him to do. And therefore, the smut becomes very easy for them, for Calypsonians to do it. However, good smut depends heavily on good masking techniques. Smut was raw, if not polished by the mask. In other words, there's some, you've heard some Calypsos over there whereby there's no really no technique. You know, after the first line, maybe not even by the second line, you know where the song going. You don't even have to wait for the chorus. And then some of the, again, you have to wait. And one of the people who captures that well is Black Prince, you know. He has a way of keeping you in a kind of suspense. So that it's really a skill.
What I liked about the one by Black Prince was his delivery, because he was so serious and kind of dry in a way too. Excuse me. Yeah, it just emphasized what he was saying even more. Yeah,
and that's his style, you know. Basically, he's like that. He affords the audience the opportunity for them to engage how they want to. He just gives you that poker face and go through his ritual. Yeah, very much like that. Thanks. Singers use the mask especially to get away from the limbs of the law, harnessed by the theater and dancehall ordinance. Songs such as Dorothy Went to Bed. You all know that one by Lion? Dorothy went to bed and a catfish, but do something when the catfish do? And a catfish made
a raid.
Made a raid.
And Dorothy ball, oh Lord.
Catfish one depending down tight.
All right. So what do you link down tight, boy? I shouldn't write that.
You think Miss Dorothy was a virgin?
Maybe it's right of a virgin, who knows? But the catfish made a raid and he went with something. And then you had the other one, Whole Day, Whole Night, Miss Marianne. I'm sure you all know this one, down by the seaside, shifting sand. And I know long ago when bus rides used to be quite popular on weekends when people go to the beach on bus rides. There were all kinds of versions about the song. You know, people use their creative skills. And they're very, some come into mind, but you know, given this, the fact it's a class, I can't repeat it.
So then you back for your days, boy.
But I think Miss Marian, if we just explore a bit, Whole Day, Whole Night, Miss Marian, down by the seaside, sifting sand. Now, what will be a woman be doing by the seaside, whole day and whole night, sifting sand?
Prostitution. She rolling around in the sun.
Okay. All right. So why didn't they say that?
Because they had a mask.
Okay. So it becomes more speculative. It becomes more intriguing to say, well, Marianne down by the river, how old is she, sifting sand? Maybe
leave it up to the imagination of the listener.
Yes, maybe she going to build a house so she can gather enough sand as possible. Right, Katie? All right. The other one, rum and Coca-Cola, well, the importance of that is the whole fighting for the Yankee dollar, and the whole family disorganization because of that Yankee dollar. And although that has a very folklorist beat and rhythm, it's a very serious socio-economic and even socio-political song of the message and the history that it captures, whereby an entire nation could have been ruined in pursuit of the Yankee dollar. As a matter of fact, some of our social institutions and structures were shaken in this quest for the Yankee dollar in the 50s and early 60s. So although it's a nice song that has gained a lot of prominence over the years in terms of having a jingle and a happy beat, the words are very much important and piercing and tells a very sad story than from what the rhythm is. And on a number of occasions, there are songs like that in the same masking vein, whereby what the audience may be feeling and what the Calypsonian is saying sometimes have variance. And one has to be very careful that you don't get carried away in the rhythm and the melodies and miss the message in the song. Same with Gene and Dinah, same topic of the Yankee dollar, except that Sparrow kind of personalized it and reference it to the young men of the society at the time who were basically pushed in the corner when the Yankees were here. You know, the women were saying, you know, man, I time with all you, and all the poor, you don't really mind me. Joe, the sailor down in Canada, go fix me up. But when Joe gone, the life had to continue. So Joe and them had to fall back in line. Yes, Julian. Oh, I thought you were going to say something. Yeah, so that whole Gene and Diana Coca-Cola cover the same basic storylines. The mighty Zandoli could be defined as the king of smut, with compositions such as The Merchant of Venice, The Stick Man, The Iron Man, Too Much Man Family, and Zandoli Whip. Now, what's interesting about Zandoli, if I may just give you a short thing about Zandoli. Zandoli must have spent about no more than 6 years in the Calypso tents. But he had quite a repertoire of songs. And one of those Calypsonians who migrated to New York. And while he's in New York, he had some domestic issues. So really serious domestic issues. And then he incubated some substance abuse challenges. And he came back to Trinidad. And he abandoned the whole art form in the sense of being intense and all of those things. And then I think one of the times when we must thank people like Robin Foster and David Rudder and the mass camp management, when in 1994, they ensured that CD Raw, which captured one of the few live performances we've had of Zandoli, along with Blakey and Black Prince, where they did that live recording at the mass camp in 1994. And for some people, the first time to see Zandoli in person. And where he recorded live all of these songs that we have here in terms of examples. But Zandoli had that real natural ability to mask what he was saying and do it in a humorous way. Unlike Black Prince, he was lively. His rhythm was different. His beat was faster. And he really captured the moment in terms of that dublinta and those masking techniques that he used. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite calypsos is the one Merchant of Venice, where he has a line that says, I think he opens by saying, he will rather lend a man money anytime, but not a woman, because women don't pay back.
No.
However,
if line ever.
Yeah?
That's like the best opening line ever. You had to quote it right. I would lend a man
Right.
any amount of cash if I have.
Right.
Not a woman. I'd rather to see them starve.
Yes, correct. And that captures the whole tune. And what's interesting is how we linked it to the Shakespearean play of Merchant of Venice, using the same storyline of Merchant of Venice. And then this is where the masking comes in, when he talks about for repayment, he wants a pound of flesh. Just as in the Merchant of Venice storyline, but before he lend you any money, he wants a pound of flesh. You know, so to me, it's one of the top calypsos we've had for the last century or so. All right. And 10, some methods of masking. We talk about double entendre, whereby the words meaning two different giving two different meanings, two different significance in terms of, for example, that one with Luther, the driver driving good. We have others by, let me see another one, double entendre. Just help me with some of them. I know you have some in your mind. Shirley, I know you might have some quick ones. Or anybody, some double entendre, some calypsos with double meanings. Anyway, I think I have some in the back. You'll come to them, let's know. Then nonsense words, words which are just used to fill spaces and to, maybe in some instances, just to add some nuisance value to the song. Then yes, sex symbolism, like my boy and really dead, the impersonality, laughter, humming, mumbling, gap sentences. Ah? Okay, yes. I'm Calvin Pope. Figure of speech, satire, and flattery. These are a list of some of the calypsos that are weaned on the mask, or how the mask was used. And there's quite a list. And so, where Miss Tam? Miss Tam, I've given you some homework here. You see this whole list of these list of songs here on the 11? Right. Before Christmas, I want you to listen to all of them.
No problem. I will do. I was planning to anyway when I saw the list.
We'll try that.
No, for me, when I saw it, I said, okay, now I know reference.
Oh, you have reference.
Listen to.
Okay, all right. And Marie, I want you to do the same thing. Marie?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm just distracted. Miss Tam is such a sweetheart. It's like, come, it's such a sweetheart. But yeah, so I go listen to it. Yeah.
All right, so that's basically some of them. Really Dead, 60 Million Frenchmen, Swordfish, London, British for Along, Follow Up My Idea by Sparrow. Ice Ice, Boo Boo Man, and The Devil by Melody. One of the clever ones by Melody is The Devil. And it is a story of a couple making love on a bench around the savannah, the Queen's Park Savannah. And the woman balls out, I've seen the devil with his hair as clean as a whistle. and he continues in that vein. And what was so interesting about it, it was in the era when a lot of people used the savannah, the savannah grass, for more than just walking. Experiences. Most calypsos make calypsos out of their experiences. Melody came up with this one, which is quite interesting. Move Your Foot, Let Me Pass by Pretender. Dentist Thunder London Gay by Duke. Sukia by Scrunter, Suck Me Sukia by Crazy. Vampire and Bunda by Stalin. Take a Rest by Relator. Mr. Pandini Glasses by Watchman. Taxi Talk, and No Man Is That You by Merchant. Dumb Boy and Santa by King Solomon. Green Line Falling and Voodoo Man by Brigo. Again, Brigo, a very interesting line. Chris on the line before when he eat and the dog start to whine. Remember that line? For the people who may not be familiar, he was tracking his lady and he went and have dinner with her or something. And in his suspicion, he threw the woman's meal out the window. And as he looked, after a while, he saw a dog having some fun with it. So, when you talk about necromancy and sweat rice and all these folklorist tales.
I don't think the dog even eat the food or not. I think the dog smell the food.
Yeah, you can hear the dog smell didn't start to whine.
You don't start to whine.
So one of those kind of lines where Brigo was painting a picture. Young men have to protect themselves. And as I done that, I remember once my grandmother told me, when you go to meet your girlfriend's parents, and they offer you things like callaloo and sweet bread, items that are mixed up. You must be careful how you eat. Because it's a convenient way for all kinds of things to happen. So even now, I still kind of worry about eating callaloo from people. Another story. Things to tell people. Okay. Dumb boy, yeah, watch out my children. We talked about that last time by Shorty Eye. Another good one in that vein, in terms of substance abuse, Lucifer in powder form by Bali. Like the Devil Day, Basil and the Slipper by Penguin. Female Woodcutter, and Callaloo Tonic by Terror. Callaloo Tonic, that to me is a very disgusting song. And disgusting in the context that the way Terror puts it over, like he talks about if his sister lay down next to him after you drink Callaloo, things could happen. And then he talk about he and your partner playing lash for lash, excuse me, playing lash for lash after you drink Callaloo. So that kind of, but he was emphasizing the point of the effect Callaloo has on him. So he talked about, I was soft before, and now I come back for, when he was in London, he was cool and quiet and soft. When he come back to Trinidad and he drink Callaloo, back and I start. So it's one of those songs that, have some interesting lines. Then we had the Kitchener, who for me is one of is worse than Zanduni in terms of smut. Kitchener is deadly, and if you all have time to play LC River and Mount Olga, you're gonna see what I'm talking about. Kitchener was a deadly one. Didn't he? But people got so caught up in his Rama and his Road March and Pan songs. But especially when he lived in England between 1948 and 1963. Those recordings, I don't know if it's the loneliness of London, the lifestyle he was engaged in, but he had some masterpieces. For example, I'll give you an example. In the second year we were doing this program, the cohort of 2012, 2013, I had some teachers from Arima in the program, and I played for them Mount Olga. And the song is Mount Olga, a big mountain I climbed in Arima. And he goes on to describe the challenges of climbing that mountain and how you had to cut bush and the knife break and all kind of things. So I asked the lady, one of the teachers, a primary school teacher, where is this Mount Olga mountain in Arima? And in the class, and this is no lie, in the class, there were three of them from Arima, and they start talking about Mount Olga has to be up Dabney Hill. Some talk of this up Calvary Hill, and they got into a whole geographic discourse, taking literally what Kitchener was saying and missing the point, how he was disguising the whole encounter, having sex with a female who, to him, was very challenging. So when I had to really at the end of the discussion with them, I had to play over this song and detail the symbolism of Mount Olga and some of the lines he used in terms of he's slipping down the hill. At times he had to stop and wipe off the cutlass. And how sometimes during the sexual intercourse, how these things happen, and not take it figuratively and literally in terms of the Calypso. So that that was kind of it was eye-opening because you would not expect. Well, I shouldn't say that, but I didn't expect teachers, number one, and they were mature ladies, to not really grasp what Kitchener was portraying. But
Doctor, Daddy would always say there are some people to this day, they will go to the grave saying Kitchener never sang a smut.
Yeah.
You know? True. So that is what you're saying there is quite correct.
Yeah, Kitchener was a master with that, man. And not talk about LC River. Wow. LC River, but you got some crab and thing. You really want to drink eat Callaloo after that. No? All right. And the handyman, and yeah. Anyway. What I really wanted to get to you all to play today was The Snake by Smiley. I have it here, so I have to probably get to Christian sometime. But it's an interesting song about relationships. Because Smiley is saying a snake is a creature that's like to roam. And he's also saying sometimes men are so mistrusting of their woman that they keep them home. But even home, the snake just come and bite the woman. And he gave these examples of the last one I remember off the top of my head is they had a wake in the neighbor's house, and the wife stayed home. No, in this house, his wife's mother died, and they had a wake going on. And whilst the people singing their hymns and things, the snake come home and bite the woman, yeah? Right in the wake. So those kind of lines to me that's really entertaining. Well, Bedbug by Spoiler, you all should know that one. Another interesting one was Black Coffee by Superior that dealt with the issue of Barack Obama when he became president in 2008 into 9. And Superior used it very cleverly to talk about things like the Boston Tea Party and using black coffee to show they're drinking black coffee now in the White House and not tea anymore, showing that Barack Obama, using Barack Obama as the symbol of the coffee, the black coffee in the White House. Very clever song. Again, hope you get a chance to listen to it. And then Stryker, one of the stalwarts of the late 50s, really, being the first person to win the Calypso Monarch on 2 consecutive occasions, 1958 and 59. Yeah. And also the first person to win singing 2 calypsos. And he saw his grandfather watch, and the grandfather bought his grandmother bought a watch for the grandfather. And the grandfather watch only sticking at 6:30. And the grandmother wanted to know why. Maybe the battery run out there, you know. But Miss Tam, why you blushing, Miss Tam?
I'm not, I was just laughing at, how you said it.
I had one watch a woman if I watching a train station or something. So.
It's lion, yeah. And she put it on the underwear, and you only hearing tick, tick, tick.
Well, they never say where she put it. What they said was when they finally watched it was 10 to 2.
All right. Katie, how you going? Why don't just leave one in your headphone? Why you keep taking it off?
I can leave it on. It's just more.
Just what?
I was listening on the speaker.
You want to use devices. All right, 12. Examples of famous lines in Calypso using the mask. Madam, I find it strange that you like iron alone, cause the thing got no range, just a monotone. How you expect me to pay blows with all that soulfish exposed? And now this is interesting by shadow. He had an encounter with a lady, and the lady husband come. And and I guess the lady was undressed. So he had some issues there in terms of he wanted to be engaged, he wanted to engage the situation, but he heard the husband come in. Right? So it's something you have to make a decision, on the spot decision. What you put in your sweet bread, Lillian, have a tasting. So again, I guess that's what my grandmother was probably referring to about sweet bread and those kinds of delicacies that are mixed up with all kind of things. You wasn't sure what's inside. So you have to be wary. You young ones be wary, right, Marie? Be wary when you go to these in-laws and they offer you all these things. Come go and go, wow by Spitfire. When a Lego Hamlet is thunder. Now, again, Kelvin Pope being very dramatic, and again, using Shakespeare and all these kind of, because the Calypsonian had an obsession with Shakespeare. A number of their songs have used either Shakespearean words, phrases, or characters in their Calypso to bring out the point. And here is another one by Duke, referring to Hamlet. When he Lego Hamlet. Now, why you got Lego Hamlet? Hamlet is an animal you tie up, you know. So you know, but again, the message is clear, and in terms of what he was trying to say in the song, because the lady was obviously giving him a little trouble. And he's trying to say, okay, you're getting on, all right. But when I Lego Hamlet, it will cool you down. You'll quiet you. I've seen the devil, but like I say when I talked about a while ago, when they say the skin as a whistle, that melody. Dog was a giant. He made them look small, pulling tug of war. Again, Bama dealing with the whole animal kingdom there again. You know, animals playing together, and you know the normal act of when dogs have sexual intercourse, what happens? Must be the hole in your guitar you go use when you want wife. Again, Black Prince talking about Calypso, and his wife remonstrated him for his commitment to Calypso, and he went nothing Calypso. And she said, well, all right, if you like Calypso, so when you want wife, go buy a guitar. The hole in the guitar, you fix up. All right. Okay. 2 weeks, 2 weeks, and get no food by unknown. What do you mean by that? Is it that you're on a starvation diet? He ain't getting people ain't cooking for him? What do you mean by that, really? 2 weeks, 2 weeks, and ain't get no food, complaining to his wife. You run out of money, recession? What do you mean by that?
No sex.
Hmm?
No sex.
No sex. So why you put give me that kind of voice, really?
One time.
You're not easy. Okay, examples of famous quotes on the mask. Actor Mel Ferrer, 1958. The wit and play on words is the real thing. In other words, these are some of the famous authors and how they describe what the mask is all about. E.M. Roach, journalist, in 1958. The difference between kitsch and Belafonte is the difference between calypso and folk song. And that's a very interesting statement. When you talk about kitsch and you talk about calypso, you talk about masking, you talk about structure, you talk about rhyming, you talk about a number of things. Belafonte is basically big puff sleeves, big straw hats, bell-bottom pants, and singing to a white audience. Best kitsch is more than that. According to King Radio, calypso is lyrics. You can't put performance on a long play record. Interesting. You can't put performance on a long play record. But sometimes you don't even have to see the calypso or the calypsonian perform. And you could visualize what is taking place. But he has a point there anyway. Mr. Sampson, one of the early historians, makes the point that the calypsonian is an expert in using symbolic language to convey his meaning. And the Duke, the mark takes lyrics to a new high. Some calypsonians in their comments on the mask, Pretender, a good calypso must have a whammy, meaning that it must have impact. It mustn't be just what you read in a newspaper or what you read in a book. It must come from a different angle, different perspective when you hear it. The same information, but presented in a different way, different format. Superior. It has Savannah calypso, it has 10 calypso, and it has schoolboy calypso. Now, after every semifinals or finals, these statements come to the fore. But how he getting, boy, how she getting with that 10 song or that Savannah song or that. And then you hear people say, nah, even when you go, if you look at Fiesta, you see placards saying Big Yard song or Big Song and those kind of things. So, you know, Trinidadians are basically aware of the big songs and the songs that shouldn't go even further than that, than some places. And so that you have your Savannah Calypso. Anybody could call us a name of a Savannah Calypso?
Progress.
Progress, yeah, okay. Anybody? Come on, I already know Calypso, all you doing Calypso 10 studies, I know. Marie.
So let somebody else answer for me now.
No,
I don't know.
No, this is serious. We can't be talk. We can't. It's not only about reading notes and chapters. We have to be able to discuss Calypso.
Tree Borat.
All right, yeah, Tree Borat.
What would be the fundamental difference between a Savannah Calypso and a big Yard Calypso and a 10 Calypso, as in where the song would reach in terms of competition?
Yes, basically it has Calypso that excel in the tent because of the nature of the song, what the tent is all about. And there's some that people have the view that only schoolboys, when you're moving from that level of schoolboys to the big artists, you sing a certain kind of song. And then there's songs that are designed specifically for the Savannah, the finals. But as fate will have it, there are times when some schoolboys song end up in Savannah, and some 10 song end up in Savannah because of all kinds of things. It's human nature, and the art form is a judge, and the Calypsos are judged by people, and sometimes it's subjective. So these things happen. I mean, I wouldn't want to call any song that was schoolboy or 10 Calypso end up in Savannah. But in another forum, I will certainly do that. so that happens, and that's normal. Once there's human beings, things happen that's not supposed to happen. But one of the interesting dimensions, if I may just add to that, sometimes when you're judging Calypsos in a tent, and you see the impact that the Calypso has in the tent, it could, now using my word carefully, it could sway the judges to adjudicate on you differently than when they see you on Sunday night in the Savannah. For example, there's some Calypsos, like Black Prince, for example, and I like to use his example. When he sang, what name of the song? The Letter. He sang The Letter at Spectacular Forum, and he got over, every time he sang the song, he got 8 or 10 anchors. People called him back. But it was a 10 song, but the judges, based on the impact the Calypso had no choice but to select him for Skinner Park. Now he goes to Skinner Park, which is a different setting. Now remember Spectacular, cozy, nice ambience, people are sitting down listening to Calypso. He goes to Skinner Park, and unfortunately for him, he was at a number, I think 21, which he started the second half. And people already had their juices already. And people want to hear Calypso. And as we saw in the film there, he on stage with his guitar in Skinner Park, people drinking rum, talking, saying, I want a party. And you come with this beautiful, written and constructed Calypso. But the environment of Skinner Park didn't suit it. No, you can't blame the judges for that. Because in the tent, he excelled. So the judges can't say, well, boy, he excelled here. I can't take him to Skinner Park because he might not excel. That's not the judge's role. The judges to judge what they hear in the tent and how the song impacts on them in the tent, and based on the rubric they have in front of them. And it was a valid selection for him to be in Skinner Park. But when you go to Skinner Park, which is a different environment, the song collapsed. And people felt sorry for him. But on the other hand, had the judges not selected them, the talk would have been, them judges don't know what they're doing. You know, they're thinking only picking certain people. So it's in the judging thing, it's a no-win situation because it's very difficult to judge people in 3 different venues. Yes, Shalin?
You see too, Doctor, some of the artists, and I say some, don't take time to study where they really want to go, because when you study in the tent, if you're a seasoned campaigner, whether you're singing with your guitar or with the band, you would know, look, if I really want to get picked and I get down Skinner Park, I have to do something different either with my delivery, and especially that positioning. It makes a difference, because you know when you're going up early, what to expect, when you're in the middle and when you're down in the end. And if you're that, you know, performer like Black Prince, you really got to sit down and study, you know, study your work.
So next year, well, not next year, but so 2020, well, you all won't be with me in 2022, because I was thinking we could have gone to the Calypso tents and listened to Calypsos and put them in categories as we judge. What is the Savannah song, or where's the tent song, or where's the schoolboy song? But that creates some discussion every now and then, though. So in the tent, there's humor, bacchanal, courthouse songs, people like Zebra, Viking, Spoiler, Unknown, Small Island Pride. Theater calls for sex and bacchanal, bordering at times on crudity, like the Lab-Ass Dog, Savannah. So you give me some examples of some of these songs that are good in the tent. The humorous songs, bacchanal songs, songs that border on the courthouse, people like Zebra, Viking, Spoiler, Unknown. Theater called for sex and bacchanal, bordering on cruelty, Lab-Ass song. The Savannah songs call for the mass with big topics and beautiful lines as Striker, Tiger, Duke, Christo, and Pretender offered. Kitchener said that Lion was the hero of the theater, meaning that Lion captivated you in this setting of the tent with all his dramatics. But he may not have been the best person in Savannah stage. Coming to mind, as I said, that is Maestro. Maestro was exceptional in the tent, but the couple finals he made in the Savannah was a far cry from what he was in the tent. And there's some artists like that, you know, the big stagey moment, because you see, this Calypso thing is not easy, you know. Because there are 3 different environments in which you perform. You sing in a tent, then you selected to sing in an open air environment, and then if you make it all the way, you sing another open air environment, but with a different mood. People who go to the Masga or the Calypso Kaiserama, they don't go to jump and whine and prance. They go to sit down to listen to Calypso. And the same people who listen in there and may have heard you in the tent may have a different opinion on when they hear you on that Thursday night than when they heard you in the tent, because of the different environment. So those are things that, you know, come into the mix as we traverse this whole Calypso stage, and whether it's a big yard song or a tent song or a Savannah song. All right. Some of the, if we go, according to Stryker, a good kaiso is not a poem. In terms of cipher, you talk about you're hiding nice, meaning you're disguising what you're saying very nice, and beginner talking about it must have a spin. You must use words where people have to think about it, or it creates a different impression. So those are some of the techniques of the masking that we are talking about. Example of the mask by Attila. Attila, again, had used a lot of masking in his Calypsos. Have you heard of the crass immortality in the Belmont vicinity? The same sin that destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah was committed there. Evans and Tulum, so the people say, were playing Bamsi Lambi. Now we talk about his homosexuality, really. But look at the structure of the song. Have you heard of the crass immortality in the Belmont vicinity? He didn't say what part of Belmont, or he didn't say it in Belmont. He said in the Belmont vicinity. And he also said it's the same sin that destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. What destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah? And it was committed in that vicinity. Evans and Tulum, so the people say he didn't say it, no. Nobody could charge that ever saying Evans and Tulum was engaged in that. He's saying the people say it's Evans and Tulum were playing Bamsi Lambe. Not he. They can lock you up. The people say that. Go and lock up everybody, you know. So that's the kind of craftiness and skill we talk about when we talk about masking and the whole technique of using words to convey different meanings, and all designed to protect the Calypsonian from the law of the land and from the ordinances that the colonials introduced to protect the middle class and the elites of the society from the wrath of the Calypsonians' lyrics. All right. Comments, questions? Now, don't tell me we've been talking about an hour and a half now and you have no comments and no questions. I mean, I know I'm kind of good at, but I'm not that good.
So, like leaning into that bit there that we spoke about with judging, it kind of begs the question of the level of awareness that judges might have of their biases that they might exert onto the judging. And I say that with a broad spectrum that we are all biased. The key is recognizing where our biases might show up and minimizing that by using a rubric or whatever the devices we have to do that. And when we did that exercise a couple of weeks ago in class, I found some research around judging competitions. And they said that they took novices and they had them only listen to audio or only view silent video or only watch video clips. And then to identify from that who had won the competition that they were viewing. And what they found is that with the silent videos, the ones with no sound at all, the participants were able to identify the actual winners. So they found that when they couldn't hear the music at all, compared to where they could only hear the music, they were off course in making their decision or be matching up with who had actually won the competition. So it kind of begs the question, what is it that might be inadvertently influencing the judges in the final decision as well? So I know we're talking 10 studies here, and I don't know if how judging fits into that, but it just made me curious around that with that research piece that Chia Jung Se had done.
Oh,
so.
Yeah, it fits in because one of the chapters we'll certainly be embarking on is the judging of calypsos, right. And where you all will be engaged in judging calypsos. So we'll do some test runs on that. Yeah.
Okay.
Any other comments, questions? Roxanne. Roxanne.
Hi.
Hi. Any comments, questions? No comment. All right. Trevin.
Yeah, hi. I saw it was showing you said the name song.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. My question is, in light of twice I saw the name pop up and it's somebody I don't know in Calypso. I have heard of it. So I was wondering if it was written because the person is unknown or the Calypsonian sobriquet was unknown.
Yeah, sobriquet is unknown.
First time I'm hearing about that Calypsonian.
Yeah. He was a very popular Calypsonian in the 60s, mighty unknown.
It makes me also curious to find out more about him in terms of somebody that you would have heard about even growing up.
Yeah. Again, he's one of those popular Calypsonians in the 10th. He was very popular in the 10th. And he may not have made many recordings so that, you may or may not find records of his work. But in the 10th, as a 10th artist, he was very, very popular. Mighty unknown. This guy, Short Pants, will normally sing a number of his songs sometimes in concerts. Because Short Pants liked his style, I think, a lot. All right.
It's so funny that you said that the teachers couldn't identify with the hidden message in the Calypso.
Well, I think
remember
go ahead.
Being in class, correcting some books, and there was a little boy started to sing Calypso while doing his work. And next one jumped up and said, "No, you can't sing that, Miss Right there." And these are standard 2 children about the age of 8. So he understood that there was another meaning behind Calypso, that caused them not to be able to sing it in my presence as the adults.
Okay.
So the children catch it faster than even the adults will catch.
But that's also a good sign when a Calypso is good, when children sing it. You know you're onto something when your children singing it. I think Calypso had 1 million, right, children?
Uh-huh.
Huh?
Mm-hmm.
I can't see 2 million in Calypso.
Mm-hmm. You just like the teachers.
All right. Christian, you have my PowerPoint up? Thank you, sir. So I would like you to put away your notes and spend some time with me on this PowerPoint. You'll get some notes on the same topic after the class is finished. I'll send it to you all. All right, so spend some time talking with me on this PowerPoint. And okay, Miss Marie and Miss Trevin and Miss Shirley and Miss Sobers and Miss Tam and Miss Ayong.
Okay.
Okay, so basically we getting in now to the internal aspects of the Calypso tent. We've done with all these things around the Calypso tent. But from here on in, we are going to be addressing issues with the institution of the Calypso tent. But before I get into that, I just wanted to share with you all some of the information that I think also relates to the Calypso tent, the external part of it. And therefore, when we get into it midway during this session, we'll have a foundation upon which we can look back on and make some clarification and some determination as to what really is this institution we refer to as the Calypso tent. Okay, first slide, Christian. No, some of it may be repetitious because of the whole general nature of the program so far, but just again to reinforce that the Camboulet what represented the carnival of the streets and of the freed Africans, while the grand balls dances in the great house represented the carnival of the plantocracy. So why this is important to the tents? Because the Calypso tent did not operate in a vacuum. The Calypso tent was part and is part of the Trinidad Carnival. All right, so we get it off the ground. Go ahead. Just a picture demonstrating the early carnival. This is one of the popular pictures you see in most of the texts of the carnival of 1888. Actually, so this will be carnival of 1887. Go ahead, Christopher. All right, so in the tents themselves, and this is the barricade tents, rehearsals were necessary for the music, singing, dancing, and acting that represented during the carnival parade. Just to repeat, the first concept of the tent was the masquerade tent. We talk about Calypso tent, talk about a masquerade tent where all these things took place: singing, dancing, acting, preparation for carnival. It was the place to rehearse, and barricade shacks, or as they were called, tents, became the center of operations for most bands. So it was just it emerged, this idea of the tent emerged out of the need for a place for rehearsals. All right, go ahead. Before 1921, and by 1921 was the first year of the commercialized Calypso tent. Right, so before that, the masquerade tent served as the meeting place for the creation of the carnival bands and for the making of music for the carnival. So the chanterelles, the Moko Jumbies, all the masquerade people were under the masquerade tent up until 1919 actually, until 1921 when the first commercialized Calypso tent was established by Walter Douglas. Go ahead. All right, before 1921, the chanterelles were the original singers before they became calypsonians, except there were times when there were chanterelles and there were calypsonians. Chanterelles basically were the females who sang calypso in the early days in the backyards. The chanterelle or the chanterelles were the ones who led the band on the streets of Port of Spain, who sang the songs in the band. The songs that they sang were rehearsed beforehand in the tent, and the whole band would respond to the chanterelle in the chorus. The songs are basically in patois or broken French. So the call and response thing was very much in action in the bands in that period. The choruses in the tents were led by females who were gaily attired with brightly colored headdresses and sparkling with jewelry. They sang in cadence or danced gracefully. Now, in the 21st century, we see a lot of Calypso tents where there are male chorus singers. In the 20th century, that was a no-no. Females sang chorus, men sang Calypso. Go ahead. And just some of the basic carnival characters. We'll go through that quickly. Go ahead. The major objective of the tent prior to World War I was to produce a masquerade man. Okay, so we established that. Next. The tents were turned into primitive theaters where performances connected with the carnival celebrations were witnessed by patrons paying a small admission fee. So even before the commercialized Calypso tent, people paid a price to go to see the carnival celebration and the carnival preparations. Next. Stick fighting, duels, Calypso concerts, dance parodies, verbal encounters, and more recently, steel band practices have filled these crude shelters in a period between Christmas and Carnival. And you hear what Errol Hill would call it, these crude shelters, because they were just things put together, bamboo and fig leaf, or banana leaf, and coconut branches, and they made something that will prevent rain and sunshine from beating on the patrons, but it was really nothing of substance of the structure. Next. All right, that's a graphic of the stick fighting in the tents, and just outside, stick fighting being a major occupation of the day. Next. In the 1890s, the chanterelles, some of whom were literate, attended secondary school and studied European history. Adopted the names of the famous warriors, for instance, Richard Coeur de Lion, the Duke of Wellington, or other combative titles such as Lord Executor and King Pharaoh. So we started to see how the names began to emerge. The Calypsonians chose British names. Why? Because of our allegiance to the British crown and during that period. Go ahead. That's a crude example of a Calypso tent and what it looked like in the early days before Railway Douglas and his boys took over. Again, the major point, the barricade, where everyone was behind the barricade. So the barricade separated both the performers and the audience. Well, a Calypso tent is a cultural venue, and this is a definition of what a Calypso tent is. A Calypso tent is a cultural venue used mainly on a seasonal basis for the preparation of a wide range of new calypsos to patrons in a given year. It was done by Gwenda Williams and Claudia Harvey. They did the research. They were UWI lecturers at the time in 1986. And this is their definition of what a Calypso tent is. It's a cultural venue used mainly on a seasonal basis for the presentation of a wide range of new calypsos to patrons in the given year. And last week we talked about that difference between the Calypso tent and the steel band yard. Where the steel band yard is a permanent structure, and it affords continuous engagement with the panists and the public. On the Calypso tent, we've never had a permanent structure of a Calypso tent, although there were efforts to have a year-round Calypso tent, but that was not necessarily the same building. So again, maybe something Tuco could look at, where that same big tent that is placed in the Savannah every year, maybe a smaller one could be placed somewhere and have it, operationalized right through the year. Because that really makes a big difference between the Pan fraternity and the ongoing events and the Calypso fraternity and the seasonal events that takes place. Next. In the early days, the instruments in the tents were the shak-shak, the quattro, the African drums, and patois being the language. The first complete Calypso to be sung in English occurred in 1914, and it was sung by Norman LeBlanc. The name of the Calypso was Jerningham. Right. From 1921, the Calypso tent emerged as a commercial entity rather than as a community institution. The Calypsians also detached themselves from their respective communities, and according to David Rudder, from the time the first bamboo cut, and it should be when we drag it down from them sentence, the real jamming start, and today we jamming still, meaning basically from that day when they separated themselves from the masquerade tent, the Calypsonians became entertainers, they became individualistic, and they separated themselves from all communities. Before that, they were tied to communities through the masquerade band. And it, and it goes by saying, as we talked about a couple of days ago, the song "Arima Tonight, Sandy Granny Tomorrow Night" was the motto of the Calypsonians when they separated themselves from the community and the masquerade tent. Next. Okay. Bit of Lady Trinidad, who became the first female to sing in the Calypso tent in 1935. But again, if you, the notes I gave you last week, Valentino's Calypso captures this history very, very accurately. Lady Trinidad in 1935, where there was a lull between 1921 and 1935, where women, for all the reasons I gave you last week, did not participate in the tents. But Lady Trinidad they did not take that on and became the first female to be involved in a commercial tent in Trinidad. Now, I don't want to confuse it with the fact that in the backyard tents, women were also there. All right? So we give a specific period, 1921 to 1935. Next. Okay, this is her label that she recorded 2 Calypsos, advised to every young woman in 1935. She was the first woman to be in the tent, the first woman to record. Some of the early women in the tents, and these were the women in the 60s and 70s. First of all, we had Calypso Rose, who began in 1964. Then we had Lady Empress in 67, I think. Lady Princess, Calypso Princess, and then singing Francine. Francine was a chorus singer before she went to front stage as a Calypsonian. Well, we have some ladies here who, on the 10th anniversary of the Divas, we had this flyer done to celebrate Lady Trinidad, commemoration of our 10th anniversary. That was the cast in 2015. Right here. How Calypsonians got their names? Very few of them sing under their real names, and that really became more popular in the 80s when David Rudder and other people decided to use their names. But before that, the Calypsonians retained their official names for their non-Calypso existence. But once in the Calypso arena, are known to all the century by their chosen sobriquet, such as Attila the Hun. And the names would get not only British, but they represented something else, as I will show you in the slides that follows. Go ahead. The Calypsonians' names reflect the processes of oppression, resistance, and accommodation afoot simultaneously in Caribbean colonial society. While some of the names like Kitchener, Nelson, and Attila the Hun were chosen from European history and may reflect the loss of African history or a desire to accommodate the English language, the principle employed in choosing Calypsonian sobriquets was laid down in the classical traditions of the African people. Names like Growling Tiger and Mighty Panther certainly indicate the presence, if not a clear consciousness, of African ontological ideas by Nehisi. What he's saying basically, that within the African society, a lot of the time they name children after people and things of the environment, and the animals represented that link between the singers and Africa. So tiger and panther, animal names represented that link again. And if in your book, where you'll see most of this by Nehisi is in the book, Come Back Home by Nehisi. And he talks about Africanism and Egypt. Why Calypsonians chose certain names? The Calypsonian sobriquet was meant to be a show of grandeur. Animals and names indicating doers of actions are particularly favored. Was meant to inspire confidence, was meant to inspire fear, was prefaced by either the Lord, the Mighty, or the King. Many young Calypsonians who came to the tent without a sobriquet were given one by the elders. So the sobriquet was supposed to be grand, like you always say, King Lion, Growling Tiger. Well, I would have said Pink Panther, but that's not so grand. Give me some now, Shirley, give me some names there.
More in our times, right?
Yeah.
Lord Invader.
What's that, Jesse?
Lord Invader.
Lord Invader, okay.
Invader, that's my name, sir.
Yes. Okay, and then animals, action names like Fighter, King Fighter. What's that?
Tigress.
Tigress, okay. Tiger, zebra. I have lots of animals' names though. And Sparrow, I remember Sparrow saying, when they started calling him, they first called him Little Sparrow. And he thought that Little Sparrow, he can't be a big man on stage, and they call him Little Sparrow. And therefore he changed and he ensured that they called him Mighty Sparrow, because he wanted to be mighty. They wanted to be a little sparrow on stage, but that's another story. The names were also meant to inspire confidence. Like who, boy? What's a confident name?
Duke of Iron.
Duke of Iron, yeah. Duke of Marlborough, yeah. Yes. Lord Eisenhower.
Sir Lancelot.
Sir Lancelot, yeah. And to inspire fear.
Destroyer.
Growling Tiger, Destroyer.
Lord Invader.
Lord Invader.
And Executor. Yeah.
Executor, Lord Executor.
Mighty Bomber.
Mighty Bomber.
And Lady Wonder.
Yes, I'm not hearing you. Why do you do something with that mic?
Sorry. Lady Wonder.
Black Stalin.
Lady Wonder. What, that's fear or confident? Jesse?
Yeah.
Fear? Okay.
And then you also had Mighty Fearless. So.
Mighty Fearless, yes. And then we have Contender. I also like Contender's name.
Terror.
Terror, yes.
Also himself.
The first, well, that is original.
And you had to say the whole thing.
Yes,
the original, the first to himself.
That is confidence.
That is confidence, yes. Okay, so next one, next slide, please. Okay, so yeah, so some of the names are King Fighter and the Royal Lion. As you know, King Fighter was Ghanaians born,
Yeah.
and Royal Lion talk about Calypso coming from France. Go ahead. The females, in terms of the sobriquet, female Calypsonians merely converted the law to lady. So you have Lady Trinidad, Lady Beginner, Lady Excellence, and a whole bunch of ladies. Other female Calypsonians use names that identify them as female, like Calypso Princess, Singing Francine, Calypso Rose. So ladies use the softer version. So the men use the king and the robust names. Women use the more feminine sounding. Singing Sandra, right. Calypso Rose and Calypso Princess. I know you're aware that Princess is go back. Princess is Shirley's auntie, right?
She looked like Wanda. I thought it was Wanda.
Yeah, she is that.
Yep. All right. Next. Okay, that's Calypsonians using their own names. You know, Karen Eckers and Stacey Stowers and people like that. Get super okay. And we have the Mighty Eagle, Mighty Sugar. That's a good name for you there, Chris. The Mighty Sugar, Zebra. And Lord or Rounder, boy. Boy looking dapper. Boy looking dapper, I could tell.
Yeah, boy.
And Lord and Lady Ivy, a husband and wife team. And we had a couple of them in the business. To date, none of the female Calypsonians have chosen belligerent type sobriquets, nor have they used the epithet of mighty. According to Roller, Calypso has always been a male mode whose themes are manhood and the identity of the individual within the group. So I guess justifying the reason why women have chosen softer names and less belligerent type sobriquets. Except we have people like Tantalizer, Lady Tantalizer, I mean, they're not soft.
and Lady Complainer, the white lady from Canada.
Oh yes, lady from Nebraska, not Canada, not Canada.
Yeah, we always say Canada for her, yeah?
Yeah, Canada. Calypso recordings in the first was 1912. We could go through this part quickly, because I think we did this last time. All right, how does one become a member of a Calypso tent? And for some people, you had auditions, whereby prior to Carnival, Calypso tent managers advertised the hosting of auditions for Calypsonians who were interested in singing in their tents to attend such sessions. Long ago, the auditions used to be a real festival. It used to be a real learning environment. It used to be a real eye-opening experience where you sat and listened and you looked at how people like Kitchener and Jazzy Pantin and Noel, what the guy name? Leon Noel and Sparrow, and they went about with their cast and selecting members of the cast. It was really, when you spend a weekend there listening to an audition, you never have to go to the tents again because it was so fulfilling in terms of the quality of Calypso, the whole ambience, the whole interaction. Nowadays, I know, far cry from that. However, from the auditions, Calypsonians are selected to perform at the tents during Carnival. The Calypso tents operate for an average of 4 weeks during the Carnival period. However, in the 1970s, Calypso tents operated for 6 and 7 weeks. But as the economy declined, it's down to maybe 2 weeks now, or 3 weeks in some instances. By next year, maybe 1 week.
Virtual.
Virtual
at your own timing.
Yeah, okay. You know, as you said that, so you know, thinking about that. If you're having a virtual tent, how you doing the costing and how the payment and the salaries and those things?
Let's have a whole discussion class on that now.
Okay.
When you
real nice, you know, real nice.
When you say 4 weeks, that's from opening night until Dimanche Gras?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all?
Yeah. No, well, before that, it used to be 7 weeks. It used to be from Boxing Day.
Boxing Day, yeah.
To Carnival Saturday. And in some instances, even the Dimanche Gras show, some managers used to insist that people go to the tent.
Wow.
But then it has declined or reduced to 4 weeks now, most times, and then sometimes hardly make 2 weeks.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
You should start from after jazz. So that's jazz is in May. So by ending of May, June, you have starting up, going all the way into July for Carnival. Yeah. Almost every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Sometimes Sunday.
Isn't that 4 weeks too?
Not really. If you can't, because remember, closing of jazz is opening of Carnival for us.
Okay, jazz is what, Mother's Day?
Yeah, Mother's Day.
Right. So that's May, mid-May. And when is the Carnival?
Carnival is mid-July.
Mid-July. Okay, so
You have the whole of June, that's 4 weeks. You have the 1 week in July.
And
you
yeah.
have 2 weeks in May.
Yeah, so 7 to 8 weeks. Yeah, okay. All right. So yeah, actually, we probably should do that maybe next week.
Yeah, because it is so, when you're talking virtual, it opens up the platform for so many innovative ideas, you know, and it gives you that freedom as to what you can do, you know, mix it up, old and new, you know, experience, inexperience, you know, so many platforms you can produce. The one thing we started talking when we here would be having the discussions with our Calypso tents was that we have to remember the financial aspect so that your platform must be, you know, with all the good, great equipment. Some may be pre-recorded to be featured on a virtual platform. The marketing aspect, you know, we must be prepared to open up to the international market in a bigger way, and that we cannot sit and depend on the FundMe TNT aspect. So that sponsorship for the artists, whether you're using the same cast from 2020 because there were no auditions, or you could have a three-day program with groups of entertainment. So instead of the normal cast where we would have all 32 and 20 something, you have a 10 here and a 10 on the next night and a 10 and a vintage night and a, you know, mix it up. So I think the viewers are the ones who are going to benefit when all of this is put together, but the whole aspect of marketing and sponsorship to ensure that what you're offering the Calypsonians, which definitely would not be what they would get on a regular basis, is all agreed upon and stuff. So that's why I'm saying it's a whole nice conversation that we can have, you know, in going forward.
All right. It sounds to me that the Calypsonians will have to do some adjustments.
No, not seems. We'll have to. Well, some of us have still gone ahead and started recording. We have the Hendrickson family, you know, and there are those who would not record because of the financial aspect. And then you can also be innovative. You can do a new one and old one, but it must be that the platform, it must be understood. So discussions must go on with your cast, you know, and the whole, you know, the front groupings that would be featured, you know, it must have discussions prior.
Okay, sounds like a plan. All right, so next week I'll try and drop a program and see how we can deal with that.
Yeah.
All right, next. Okay, just more for, again, just show the whole design of the tent, the band, and the barrier with the Calypso in the front. And then way down in the corner, you see the Calypso, the police fellow, taking notes, part of the furniture, I will want to say, because his role is very important for the colonials to ensure censorship, no libelous claims are made and all these different things. So the police have a very important role. And we see some of the early instruments, clarinet, the quattro, look like a flute, and the roof, thatch roof, the Calypsonian and suit. Look at the bigger size than him, though, but in suit.
But even the musicians in the suits.
Yeah, and
as Prof said, I used to use the same jacket. Everybody wearing the same jacket.
Yep. All right, next.
And those two in the back, they're peeping by the galvanized.
That is it's a white black jacket, man. It's only jacket. You come to run racket. All right, this band, very important band in the 1940s and 50s from Guyana, the Mutu Brothers. They did a lot of background work for people like Small Island Pride, Dictator, Attila, Terror Lion. So they an East Indian, basically East Indian band, but they provided early music in the Calypso tents, the 40s and 50s. The 30 Syndicate was a Calypso tent that was strong and operated by Calypsonians. Remember the 30 tent with the milkshake drink that 3 Calypsonians formed? Who were the 3 Calypsonians again? I don't answer, but remember, the 3 Calypsonians formed the 30 Syndicate and they formed their own tent, right? From 1998 through an act of parliament, Calypsonians have been given the responsibility to operate Calypso tents in Trinidad. Currently, the Trinidad Unified Calypso Organization, the authorities, that should be the authorized Calypso Organization in Trinidad and Tobago, operates 6 Calypso tents during the carnival period. Is it still 6, Sherlyn?
Plus the community-based stands.
Okay, I'll add that in next then. All right, next. The structure of the Calypso tent and a tent manager, a stage manager, a cast of performers, a master or mistress of ceremonies, an accompanying music band, and a chorus group. Who was the first female, or who, sorry, I shouldn't say the first man. Who was the first female MC in a Calypso tent in Trinidad? If you answer in 3 seconds, you get a free Jazzy. First female MC in the Calypso tent. As a recent vintage. Win once, win twice.
Francine.
Destra.
No, Destra.
Francine.
Destra, okay. That'll be news. No. Nikki Crosby.
I know that.
What?
Nikki Crosby, and after Nikki was Rachel Price. And then there was a girl called from TSTT, now she looks at TSTT, Wendy Fonset at Kaiser House.
But Donna Haddad wasn't.
No, she's late. She's in Spectacular in 2008 or something like that. Yeah. All right, next. Yes, some of the tent management here, Stalin, Jazzy Pantin, and Sonny Woodley in the days of the review. Next. Okay, one of the original flyers I'm skin apart, but the importance of this is in terms of the tent program. You see what they have there, change of program, whereby on any given night, the entire program will be changed in terms of the structure, the artists who perform, whether they bring in a skit, different things were done during that era to, keep the program and the tent alive, not static, as in most tents today tend to be. But in that 70s, especially the Young Brigade tent, they were always creative in trying to do different things in the tent to attract patrons and keep it lively. Next.
Doctor, you see the price? $2, $3.
Check your mic, Sherlyn. Yes. Go ahead, check your mic. I didn't hear you properly.
Hear me?
Oh, yeah. What is that?
Yeah, the price, $2 and $3 now.
Oh, yeah.
1976.
And that was plenty.
Yeah, look.
Yeah, that was plenty.
$4.
Yeah, they borrowed that to go, yes. Pay back your part on Friday. All right. Cast of the Calypso War, the Young Brigade. Again, I chose this for the tired. So the Calypso are tired. Everybody looking spick and span. Again, very British, because under the British Empire. So men had on their hats and their tie, and I make out a couple of them, Invader. On the third left, Pretender, leaning, yeah, Pretender. Who else I could make out there? I think on the far right might be Bomber by himself. Yeah, Bomber. About it. The person in front, I'm not sure who that is. He look like Iowa, but obviously not Iowa, but he look like Iowa. Next. All right, in the intent you had singing, which in terms of political, social, humorous, or smart songs. You had dramatization, and we talk about that later on. You have change of program, you have Calypso drama, Calypsonians in drag, Calypso duets, and Calypso tent competitions. One of the features of the tent logo was those tent competitions, where each tent would have crowned its own monarch or king. And again, that kept, the interest in the tents, because some of the guys, they may not have been selected for the masquerade, but they will have at least won something for the year by winning their tent competition. And sometimes, surprisingly enough, although they may not have made it to the finals, they will win the tent competition, which was kind of interesting.
I think they should bring
Doc,
that
you must
back.
do that, eh?
Yeah, no, saying the
Must
same
do
thing.
that.
Bring that back.
You see, 2 years ago, I talked to you all about that, and you all said, no, it will cause rivalry and back now.
Nah, I pushing that.
All right, yeah. Next. All right, rehearsing for Carnival. I could make out Kitchener in front, obviously, Brigo behind, Almanac, Relator, Wellington.
Is that Penguin?
Yeah. No, Penguin are there. The Foster, next to Wellington.
Next to Wellington, I guess.
With the hat.
Next to Wellington.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is it Foster?
Yeah, the original.
All right.
And Brigo behind Kitchener. And then Relator behind Brigo.
Yeah.
And then look all around the right behind Brigo. Right to Relator. Yeah. And then
Is that in the shades?
I want to think it is. No, it's not Almanac. I thought it was Almanac, but not Almanac. All right, let's go on. We have plenty to cover. Again, Calypso bonding in the tent. We have Nelson, Sparrow, Shadow. I think, I'm not sure who the females are, but they're probably in the chorus. And the guy next to the guy next on Nelson's left, on Nelson's right is Adikoto.
Oh, look how art look.
Yeah.
Well,
they say that they were posing, obviously there was probably a media night or something. All right, next, Calypsonians in disguise. Now, this is Sparrow on the left with the stripes when they were doing one of the mini nights at the tent, again, to attract audience. Then you had Bunny B singing Not Leaving in imitation of Denise Plummer. Then you have this boy Ninja singing about, what's her name? Pandy's wife. What's her name?
Uma.
Yeah.
Our picture is killing me right now.
Don't worry, that walk it up. Okay, then we have the chorus, the tents. The rooms were part of the, and the Sparks were part of the Kitchener Review. And then we have the famous March of Dimes, where Francine was the original member, along with Nap Hepburn, March of Dimes chorus group. Go ahead. And then we have this lovely Petir Calypso Theater, backup singers, Ruby Radix, Diane, and Shirley Hendricks. And look how young Shirley look, you know. And innocent. And innocent. Where that innocent gone? And Ruby Boy. Okay, Germany Calypso tents. And all of this to show how varied the Calypso tent activities were. So you have here the Mighty Sparrow and Butcher Menace and Young Robin, where they played the whole play, Marriage Scandal, and then they did Stella, remember Stella's Calypso, Noel Nelson. You know, so they had drama, so you didn't just sit down and listen, sing and song all the time. You saw dramatization of different things. Go ahead. This is the art for it. Original Young Brigade presents Stella's Wedding Scandal, plus a new program. Sparrow was the parson, Nelson was the old man, Bill Trotman was the bride, the Mighty Robin was the bridegroom. Price of $1, $2, and $3. And this was in 1966, I think, or 67. 66 probably. Stella? No, 60, Stella, 64. Anyway, in the 60s, mid 60s.
Doctor, tickets on sale at Kapolani's.
Yes. Yeah. Kapolani's on Friday. A great dramatic thing with Brigo, when you're singing Barnabas, he and Kitchener acting out a play on the stage. Again, you know, see, I just want to show how different the tents were and how they have become. That fun, that entertainment aspect has truly disappeared. Next. Calypso King, this is Calypso 10 competitions, and who's being crowned here? 1984, King, the Mighty Santa. Santa is being crowned Calypso King of San Fernando in 1984. Santa, late Santa, by the mayor of San Fernando.
The Santa?
The Santa, yeah.
Wow.
The Santa, yeah.
Then King Butterbush, San Fernando King. He's been crowned by the wife of the mayor, Mr. Sullivan, Bitterbush.
What's the man name? Is this Bitterbush?
Yeah, Mighty
Bitterbush.
Yeah. And you have Sugar Aloes, you have Bitterbush. And you have Sugar and you have Saccharin. The king himself, in 1964, being crowned in Savannah. All right, national competition. This one is from 1987, I think. Sugar Aloes, Ella, Stalin, GB, Italian, Gypsy, Watchman, Ronnie, Tigress, Crocker. All right. Then you had the marketing of the tents in terms of the two tents clashing. You had the Calypso Extravaganza the Monday night, Rich Marshall, and they come and took over as Marshall Monday, but before that was Calypso Monday. That Monday before Carnival, and you had the Young Brigade clashing against Calypso Review. And even we had, very important, the Carnival Development Committee and the Calypsonians Association's Calypso Theater in 1976. A very important institution. Blakey and Terror, Unknown. Who else asked about Unknown? Tyrion. What's your name, Tyrion? You were asking about Unknown before? You still there? So going on. Anyway, but these flyers are good because they show you the cast of Calypsonians, and so you will know who was around in those years. You had like Unknown, Spitfire, Lord Drake, Destructor, Invader, Harmony, Prince Solomon, Tiny Terror, Mr. Umbrella, Mighty Jaguar, Viper, Short Pants, Roma, and Black Prince. Next. The Big Clash, 4 tents in one.
Yeah.
Spec, Review, SYB, and CDC. Note stand, $25, grandstand, $35. 4 tents in one, you know?
And you see how many Calypsonians, right?
Yeah, Calypsonians like these. The 4 MCs, Tommy Joseph, Protector, Redeemer.
Nobody want to crash. No.
I wonder why.
No complimentaries whatsoever.
No complimentaries.
None.
This would have been when, in the 80s?
No, this is
90s?
No, this is the 70s. No, 80s. It's spec is 80s.
No, Daka, yeah.
Yes, 80s.
This feeling familiar. This can't be 70s.
No, this is 80s. But Spectacular.
Okay.
Yeah, look.
It's about 85, 86. Yeah, the Spec Review.
Doctor, North Stand, Grandstand pack, you know.
Yeah, it's in a room.
Sell out.
Everything sell out. And I feel like at the cast of these casts, Spectacular had Alberto, Chogdas, Rudder, Duke. So this will be around 88. Because that's when Duke went to Spec. Explainer, Gypsy, Johnny King, Mikey Trini, Marshall Montano, yes, that is 88. Nelson, Rex West, Rootsman, Rasaeli, Swallow, Santa, Smiley, and Tambu. Yep, because Tambu started in 87. So it's definitely 88. Then you have Review with Kitchener, Stalin, Scrunter, Merchant, Crazy, Poser, Baron Wellington, Iowa George, Hindu Prince, Organizer, Romance, Pink Panther, Gypsy, the Gypsy Princess, Prince and Amusa. SYB, Sparrow, Natasha, yes, Natasha also in 88. Bali, Sandra, Crusoe, Penguin, Rio, GB, Power, Lady B. Shigalo is Venus, Lady Venus, one of the nicest ladies in the business at the time. Marva, Prospector, Exposer, Just Come, Plain Clothes, and CDC, All-Rounder, Francine, Pretender, Chiller, Chicago, Commentator, Lady Irie, Lady Wonder, Penman, Lady Hotspot. Who is now, what's Lady Hotspot name now? Lady Hotspot has changed her name. Come on, man. Nah, man, Shulin.
Not Crystal.
No, who was Lady Hotspot and who changed her name? All right. I know. Amidullah, King Pro, Potential, Dictator, Clipper, Singing B, and Playboy. You know who Lady Hotspot is?
Can't remember as Lady Hotspot, unless I'm mixing up two people.
Who you're talking about?
We know, I'm mixing it up in truth because Hot One is Crystal, but who was Lady Hotspot again?
All right, that's your homework. When you go back to your father.
I found it, I think.
Who it is?
Is it, oh gosh, I just lost it. Islin O?
Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
See, I would barely have known her, so I know Islin.
Okay, yeah, that's your first lady.
Yeah.
All right, next.
But what time you going home after you get to this? Because it starts at 8 o'clock.
No, you get to by mid. It used to be run very quickly and very efficiently. By 1 o'clock, they'll leave so on.
Who cares then? Nobody care about when it's done. People come to bet until who is the best tent. Big money passing this,
Yeah. This carnival week, nobody talking about going home. Next.
Doc,
I
think Tribine's laptop died, battery died, so.
Who?
Tribine.
Oh, okay.
She just come back in.
Okay, that's a sample of the people and the kind of dignitaries and how they dressed to go in the Calypso tents in the 50s. Dr. Williams and his group. America in front there with the glasses. And some of the foreign contingent, and you have John O'Halloran in the back. John in the other far right. Yep. So people, they put on your suit and your bow tie and thing. You come out, ladies in your long dress and thing. You know?
Is this Chambers? You looking Chambersy?
Yeah, no, not Chambers now. No. Looks like he's from foreign entourage. All right, next. Okay, this was just to give an idea of the salary of artists in 1961. Powell was making $800 a week. All-rounder was a big boy. All-rounder making
1981.
1981, I mean. All-rounder making $1,200 a week. Is this tiny
He led the cast. He always led the cast.
I know say that.
Yeah,
Daddy was the
always,
boss.
a long time.
He's a big boy. All right. And this is what the CDC tent. Now, the thing is that it's how they classify the Calypsonians. You had one category up here, professionals, and then you had other Calypsonians. So the salary for the professionals range from $500 to $1,200. In between, you had a $700 and an $800. And for the other Calypsonians, it was from $350 to $650. Very interesting in terms of the classification.
Companero and Black Hat was making more
I know, but
money
I know saying that. Oh, them
the
dumb day.
professionals. Even Santa.
They're supposed to be upstairs, but you know.
No, what I maybe could analyze from that, like how we have the core cast. Yeah, the core cast, and because some of those people might have just come in for, you know, a season, and then they may be not there next season.
Okay.
Because I'm seeing Sugar Aloes and the, you know.
Yep. How much Sugar Aloes was making? $350? Well,
yeah.
All right. You can't see this either, but again, just again, all around there. I don't know where you get all this money from all around there. You started.
That's the boss man.
The chorus give Hendrickson. I'll make you plenty money, man.
$230 big space. I have plenty money that in no states.
And Gary Hercules too.
Yeah, and Gary.
They gain more money than Mr. Action, you know?
Yes. How much Mr. Action gets?
Mr. Action getting $100 a week.
Oh, yes. Yeah, Mighty Jackson.
Mighty Jackson, boy.
$100 a week, boy. Now, man, that wickedness. All right, Victory Theatre in 1947, the advertising of the tents, very basic. And one of the things of the early advertising, you know, they have there's this view now that all members of the cast must be on one flyer, which it sometimes turns out to be some of the most hideous kind of pictures you see. But then, if you leave out one, it will cause bacchanal. But before that, all the tents were just the basic, and the advertising was just the basic information. The name of the tent, the address, and who appeared. No said a picture, and who picture higher than one, who are color picture, and who are black and white. And next. You see, basic advertising. Blakey the boss, when he opened his tent, which 10 to 1972, well, he put here alone. So he's the boss. And so by that funny power, Francine, Prince, Princess Shadow, Protector, Hindu Prince, Danny Boy, and many others. And the same thing in the French club, New French line Calypso 10, King Solomon, Pancho, Creole, Crooner, Gibraltar. I like the name of the band, music by Watap, and it's Calypso Master.
75 cents.
75 cents. Watap are the boys just about 8 Abercrombie Street, upstairs Bank of Nova Scotia. And this Blakey was at Port Services Club on Rice Road, near to Hyatt.
Yeah.
Next. Okay, the review advertising at 10, Ladies' Night. So one of the things they created was the Ladies' Night. And this is 1978, paying tribute to Maestro. Maestro passed away in 1977. And the Princess Building, as you all know, where Napa is. You hear Kitchener, Duke, Melody, Terror, Swallow, Antigua's Road March, King, 1977, Calypso Prince, Hindu Prince, Cortina, Flipper, Manchild, Investor, Pancho, Organizer, Short Pants, Santa, and many more. Music by Clive Bradley and his Calypso Orchestra, caused by the Sensations. And then this is Blue Boy, his first venture into the business of his own tent, Culture House in 1987. So he had Coco, De Lamo, Trotman, Valentino Modala, De Fosto, Froggy, King Austin, Ziggy, Manchild, Terror, and Luther. MC Bill Trotman and Tate. So I think Kaiso Culture House lasted for 2 years, I think.
Yeah.
I think so.
And a nice cast, though.
Yeah, he had a nice cast. I didn't think he had any females, though. That was one of the early things about the tents. In that year, females were far and few in between. Kingdom of the Wizards, 1978. Again, Starboy, Shadow, Stalin, Brigo, Funny. And if you look at the cast again, no ladies. Brigo, right? And then the same thing in Sparrow's Hideaway, where you had, well, Penguin, Sparrow, Ezra James,
Yeah,
Crusoe.
Sandra.
Yeah, that's Sandra there, yeah.
And Natasha.
And Natasha, yeah. Okay, next. Freshwater Yankees tent, Clip Sparrow and Rose. That was mainly held on a Sunday on Frederick Street, where you had your lunch, your callaloo, and your so forth, with a variety of calypsonians from different tents. But it's a good idea, you know. Take a lime, take a joke, hear some calypsos. And then you had the People's Court with Valentino Stalin, Almanac Conqueror. Again, trying to be off the mainstream in a different orientation towards the tents. Music by Michael Bootman with Clive Bradley on the keyboards. 1977. The big three in Calypso, Sparrow, Lion, and Kitchener. They were about to tape a BBC interview. Chatting for a while. Okay, 2018, Calypso Monarch. Helen Francis. All right. National Calypso tent, no word yet. Again, this is about it. There were three attempts at having a national Calypso tent that will have been run daily on a daily basis, operationalized on a daily basis. Then come to the fore, Sparrow started one, Superior started one, then there's a group of businessmen started one, but they all collapsed. A venue for the singing, what's the benefits of a Calypso tent? A venue for the singing of new Calypsos to the carnival, a place where Calypsonians hone their skills and develop professional competencies in performance, drama, and communication. An institution that helps in the promotion and refinement of Trinidad's national song, the Calypso. The Calypso tent affords the national community the opportunity to listen to a variety of calypsos on or about national issues in an atmosphere of comfort and poetic freedom. So why we have a tent? Because it's a venue for calypsos for the carnival, a place where calypsonians learn their skills and develop their skills. It's an institution that helps in the promotion and refinement of the national song. And it affords the community the opportunity to listen to a variety of calypsos on national issues and poetic freedom. All right. And if you want more of this information, when you purchase your book, Stacy Sobers, when you purchase your book, you'll get more of this information.
Which book is that?
Calypso tent in Trinidad. I'm the Mr. Abraham behind it. I'm the Mr. Abraham.
In a meeting.
Why you sure? You know you're on Zoom. All right, that's it. Christian?
That was really enlightening, Doc.
I'm not hearing you. Check your mic. All right. I hope I didn't put you all to sleep. Anybody went to sleep? Roxanne, you went to sleep?
No, it just fell out there. The signal just went.
Yeah, right. Because
Because I was telling you that that was really enlightening.
Yes, Roxanne, you're so bright. All right, folks, any questions, comments before we wrap up?
That was really enlightening, I said, Doc.
Okay,
You heard me right?
I believe you.
Yeah.
Marie, any comments?
Not really. I agree. It was enlightening, indeed.
Marie, you're a real politician. What constituency you want to go for? Mr. Young, Cowie, how are you? Any comments?
None so far. It was really good to see the comparison between years gone and have a think about present day as well.
All right. Rachel, you reach home as yet?
Should I say so? No.
Where you driving from? Where you going to? Where you driving to Texas?
No, I'm not driving. I'm inside the side office now.
Oh, okay.
I'm on the night shift tonight. So from one job to another.
So you're going to buy some Lucia Lester?
I know that, right? But they didn't sell it to the Chinese, but that's for another story.
They're Chinese. Where you buy your Ford?
But that's where they sell to the Chinese.
Okay, well, I'm sure you could get a place up in Grosselia and
They sell that one to the Americans. They're selling everywhere. Even Queen Street, they're selling too.
All right, well, I could come to Trinidad and buy a place up in Arima.
Is she got Toko?
No, I'm not in Toko. So you could corrupt the place. All right, folks. Hold on momentarily whilst I email you the lesson that will cover what we just did. So Crystal will then forward it to you. All right, and I see you on, God willing, see you on Thursday, please, God. And stay safe and stay inside. Right, Mary? Stay inside. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.